Welcome back to Reframing, where we open the kimono, we let you see behind the scenes to the real of interior design, not the button-up perfection that's shown on TV or that we show in our beautiful Instagram photos, but what it's really like in our lives as interior designers. I'm Rainey.
I'm Casey, and this is the art of reframing. We
Yay!
are so excited. Hello. I can't believe it. Here we go. If our 12 listeners are still listening, thank you guys, all of you.
I think it's a lot more than 12 now, but our goal was 22. So we've blown
that
out of the water.
We did. Now
we did
we
it.
We're going to give ourselves a trip to Europe.
Italy, I think,
right?
wasn't it?
Yes. Oh my gosh.
We need to go.
Truth works. Let's go.
So, my win for today is, and I think I've said this in a previous podcast, but it's happening again, and it's my whole heart, is that my one daughter that lives in LA is coming home to visit, and I could not be more excited. So we're going to eat crawfish. We're going to go shopping. We're going to do all the things, and I'm so excited.
Oh my.
That is a big win for me always.
All three girls together?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah,
do some things together.
A little bit, but you got her home.
Yeah.
You get the baby.
I'm gonna be like you are with your boys.
Exactly. I know. Right. I feel like I'm always like, can I just touch your? Can I just stroke your hair? Or yeah.
It's so just yummy. Sit very close to you. Yeah, that's the plan.
Stare.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah. What about you? What's your win?
I've got a really cool trip coming up. Next week for Matt's work, and we get to go to Japan, and we get this incredibly curated trip that they are providing us. It sounds so unbelievable, and I don't know about you, but in our family, I am the planner, so I am the logistics person, and I plan the trips.
And someone else is doing that?
And somebody else is doing everything. Like we have an itinerary and like what we're going to be doing, and there's only a few other people on this trip, so we really get to see, and we possibly will get to see the end of the cherry blossoms. It's the very end of the season, but and your dress makes me so happy because I feel like those are the colors I'm going to be like in. So,
thank you.
I know. I cannot wait. That dress. I just want to wrap
that.
myself in that dress, though. It's gorgeous.
So now, if you're only listening to the podcast, you need to jump on YouTube and see the dress.
Take a gander at the dress.
And the art, right? Our artwork is exquisite. It is by Chad Kilgore, and we actually commissioned this piece for a client. It is going to go in their dining room, and so it is made of paper, actually. And what Chad really wants the client to do is to contemplate the complexities of the human experience. And that is sort of a goal in his artwork. And we have seen this application in different shapes and different forms, and we asked him to do a perfect square. And so we are super excited to hang this on the wall. The house is still under construction, but it's almost completed, and this is going to have pride of place. So just wanted to share this artist. Yeah, Chad Kilgore.
From this angle, I feel like it's labyrinth style, which I'm a big fan.
Huge fan.
But when I was looking at it on the wall, it gives you either a pull in or pull out moment, right? So it's like, am I walking down a long hallway, or is this thing coming like a pyramid from the top? It is so exquisite. And you must go on YouTube or Instagram to see what we're even talking about.
And just get and
see it.
And your outfits always. So there's that.
Happening. I think this is Target.
There's that.
This is definitely a Target belt. So here we are again.
Here we are.
What do we get to talk about today?
Podcast.
The less.
So one of the things that we do as interior designers is we don't just do the fluffy stuff on top. We actually are involved in the construction and a lot of times the remodel process. And remodeling is daunting.
It's a lot.
It's big. However big you think it's going to be, it's going to be bigger. It's going to be better. And so, but we've learned a lot of lessons along the way.
Oh my gosh. Lot of lessons along the way. And it's so interesting because I do think, again, perception, we only show pretty things in our industry. And so people think it's just a really light, fluffy kind of experience, and everything so sort of magically appears. And the behind the scenes is always just so much more. I actually love those moments of just like, holy cow, what just happened when you pulled that wall down and there's, only 1 2x4 holding that entire structure up. What happened here 60 years ago? Where, so you're like moments of creativity, is what I like to call it. 'Cause oh shit, this is going to change. But it changes the everything from the structure to the budget. And so hopefully we can talk about some of that with you guys today.
100%. So again, if you're a baby designer, if you're a seasoned designer, if you are a homeowner, we have learned so much from every single remodel we've done, but we're going to go over a few of those, maybe some mistakes along the way, so that you don't feel alone and that you too understand that the remodel process is a thing.
It's a thing. And if we can save you from some of the things, maybe you'll hear something today and you'll go, oh, shit, I didn't think about that. Hopefully that works because there's plenty that we're going.
There's lots of meat. We could talk about this for the next 3.5 years.
We talk, we say we've got 50 years combined experience and stuff still happens. So it's not, you're not alone. You are not alone.
100%. So join us for this podcast.
All right, lady. So right now in your wheelhouse, in your, are you doing more remodels or more new construction?
I was going to say more remodels just because they're so much more consuming. Because we don't do the builds, we just do the specification. We're not builders of new homes. So I would say always remodeling is the biggest thing for us since we do our own remodels. But they're probably tied, the number of projects.
Okay.
I would think, what about for you?
I've got more remodels.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, more remodels than
for
new construction. Yeah, just a couple of new construction.
And you're GCing a big one yourself.
Yeah, and that's one that's been interesting. And we will. So we're starting to hopefully add some photos to our B-roll for some of these. So if you do watch, you can see. But some stuff that has even just come up during this project has been eye-opening. And this, it's so fun because you drive through neighborhoods and you think one day I'll either, as a little girl, it's like one day I'll live in a house like this. And now I don't really maybe think that. I think one day I want to build a house like this or work in a house like this, right? And then you get inside and it's either like, wah, wah, like this was underwhelming. Right. What happened? Or, so bringing that outside, wow, back into this house.
Yeah.
But a lot of corners were cut in this particular, and it's shocking. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I
in a high price point house, right?
Very high price point house. And you wonder if even the homeowner knew, like little things. But we've got, I wish my eye wasn't so critical all the time.
Yeah.
But
you can have a break from it.
Yeah. That I could look at something and
what makes you so good at what you do.
Yeah. But I'm like, what is that thing on the ceiling? And
nobody can see it but you.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But it's a nail that's coming through the sheetrock, and you're like, really? Why?
We can't be having that.
I can't be having that.
Yeah.
So, anyways, yeah.
So, what is something recently that you've learned on a remodel?
Well, the one, just because this is so front of a lobe right now, is this one we're doing, and it's this. It looks as if they maybe had a sale on this particular tile and counter because
they bought all of it.
They bought the factory.
They bought a container.
And crema marfil was on sale that day. So it's everywhere. So we decided to gut the bathroom sooner than the homeowner had thought. And so, shouldn't it be a big deal? We're not really even moving plumbing because it's a beautifully designed bathroom, or designed. But we're just going to give it a facelift. And so pulled that massive tub out. And there is a hole, a swimming pool, like a mini swimming pool in there. And so it was the first time I've ever seen that. I've probably pulled, I don't know.
So it's dirt or it's tiled in?
It's not even tiled. It's just cement. It's the subfloor, but it's perfectly done and the drain's on that. So apparently when the tile guy pulled everything out for a demo, and there was a bench and some wood planks to hold like the rest of the not even a full subfloor. It's just things that people did to make it. So that's been interesting.
It's like you're an archaeologist now. You can add that to your resume.
I was amazing what I found in this tomb.
Yeah.
It's wild. And none of us had seen anything like it. So that was fun. And
so how do you deal with something like, was that a budget buster? Or is it just like, we're going to go back over it?
And was not planning on that. And, similarly, like another bathroom, you pull stuff out and you've got all these weird things that they had to rig in there. And there was a bathtub. Now we're putting a shower, and that changes everything, right? So then everything changes cost-wise. And we even on that wall had to move plumbing to the other side to sort of be able to notch things out so the duct-on shower floor could sit nicely in, because the first plumber said, nope, not going to work. He actually walked off the job. I was like, I've never been ghosted before by a contractor.
You get a whole ghost.
Yeah, but he didn't.
I'm not doing the swimming pool.
I'm not doing the swimming pool. Definitely
no.
not doing that. I'm like, and I've got that, like, we will. find a way.
There is not.
We're not pulling. We're doing it.
Yeah.
Just might.
There's no try. There's do.
Yeah.
Yeah. I understand completely.
Solution, no problem.
We have learned so many lessons through remodels and the remodel process. I think one of the biggest ones, and it's one that we hammer into our clients, like, I don't even know how many times I say it. We will not demo a remodel until we have 100% of the selections, not just signed off on, but we actually own them. They are physically in our little hands. That's right. Now, it could be that hardware is on its way, right? And it's going to be here in 2 weeks. Hardware is the very last thing, so we feel very comfortable that we're going to get that. But I'm talking about certainly tile. Countertops are chosen. They're tagged. They're picked up by our fabricator.
Oh, wow.
If we're doing a special
even demo.
Yep. If we have a special wood species that we're using for something, that's been purchased by our millwork contractor. Like every single thing, all the lighting is in. Lighting is such a big one because they will lie to you. They will tell you something has shipped and they don't even own it yet. So the lighting vendor. And so I'm huge about that because that just is a domino effect and it impacts everything. And so we just won't, because I think a lot of remodels run over time and go longer than they should because demos happened. So you're in it, right?
And that's just fast.
You're waiting for something.
Oh God, that drives me head in.
I will not do that. So that is something that we learned years ago. We're not demoing, and I don't care. Somebody could be like, "But I want you to start. I want you to start." Well, I promise you, we're going to start, and this will save you so much angst and upset because your project will be so much shorter in time. Yes, and it'll get you excited.
I'm think excited. That is huge. I'm excited. Yes. And I want to get started, but let's just like slow the roll because also the momentum we need momentum for the remodel. Like that's an ultra marathon, like that's not a 5K. We're not just, we need your stamina. So because they get so excited at the demo, because it does go fast. Yeah. And then it just slows the F down. Yep. Because it has to, everybody's doing their stuff, but behind the scenes stuff. Yep. But knowing that, waiting on things though,
it's not fun for anyone. Like nobody's having a good time.
That phone call from the rep, which I just had on this project, two things that, because sometimes though, you pull the thread and then the thread keeps pulling and then it's like, ooh, this is fun. Let's do it over here. Can we also add here? Scope creep, we love. And so scope crept. So as we're going, but our vendors are amazing and they're always like, okay, there's 3 in stock or whatever the thing that before we even show clients, right? And so wallpaper, there was 100 yards, great, awesome. 2 days later, great, client wants it, let's go.
It's gone.
All gone. And that same thing happened with lighting. We bought it.
Discontinued?
Somebody came in and bought 800 of those whatever sconces and now we don't get our 2, which was really frustrating and I'm not really pleased with that vendor. The showroom is fine. It was the vendor that pulled it anyway. But those moments, and then you're like, "Oh,
I can't." Now you have to go back to the.
Everything was based on this. Like everything's tied together in a
so tough. So tough.
So yeah, but
you just talked about scope creep. So that's something that we really try to keep our eye on too, sort of that snowball effect that can lead to the budget bust. And then there's no money to finish the project, like with the furnishings and stuff. So we really, if we start seeing that go crazy, we might say, okay, we're going to mash the pause button and we're going to go back to the planning stage. And make sure that we get everything that it is that you want and get a number on that so that you understand where we're heading. Because that's been a problem a couple of times because everybody gets excited. I get it too. I get excited too. Yes. But how that impacts that bottom line is bananas.
And then I think the thread gets lost, is in the sense of, right now Carrie keeps saying to me, Casey, we gotta write all this down. We have gone so far over because we've got it all in the contract. This is what we're doing. Right. We're very detailed, and outside of those lines, it's going to cost this. And we've gone so far outside of the lines, we're in another hemisphere.
Exactly.
And I'm not keeping track of it, just because, again, people please, like you want it, and you have the crews all there, so you might as well keep
keep on
going.
going.
So the mash button's a great option or idea. I need to probably hit that because
Unless the client is like, I don't even, let's ride this ride. But sometimes those are the exact clients that then come back and say, I thought we would be in the X number dollar range. I didn't realize we were going to be here.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, when you mash it, it's out of
it's for them.
And it makes me sleep better too, because I don't want to get so far away but it's come from things not
working out well.
Not working out well. And I don't like to surprise anybody. But sometimes you have that client that's not surprised at all.
Yeah. And that's okay. But sometimes, because when you're in the midst of the project, things do come up, or there might have been a bonus that they weren't expecting that came earlier. And that happens a lot, especially where we are in Houston. Like, like
the February bonuses.
From I love the oil companies sometimes giving a big old bonus that they weren't expecting. And so, yeah. But have there been any moments where you were like, we've talked about it before, but the out of pocket that you weren't expecting that on your end, like you thought it was going to be this. Do you have it written in your contract as far as like, how is yours done? Do you?
Well, anything unexpected. So our remodel contract is actually pages and pages and pages long because we include a spreadsheet that by room, it tells every single thing we're going to do, like demo current can lights, replace with X. So if it's a guest bedroom, demo the 4 can lights. Line number 2, replace with 6 can lights and a decorative fixture. Number 3, move the switch 3 inches over. It is so incredibly detailed, and we spend a long time with our clients going through that for 2 reasons. Number 1, we want to make sure that we have everything in the bid. But number 2, we want to make sure that there's no disappointment during the project where I thought that X was included.
Mm-hmm.
And so if that's the case, then we need to have the conversation at that meeting. And we always send those spreadsheets home with our clients so that they can go through them thoroughly because we don't want to miss anything.
Right.
The other part of that is we don't nickel and dime our clients. And I'm sure you're the same.
Damn it. Yeah.
So if there is, we thought it was going to be a 2-gang, but we've decided to separate some things. We're going to have a 4-gang switch. It went from $30 to $60. We're not charging that client $30 on a change order, but that's built in to our financial side of some of those overages.
Right.
Some of those overages are covered so that we don't nickel and dime them. But they're very clear when we have a change order.
Yeah.
And it is this is what we're doing, very well spelled out. But that is how we make sure that those things are covered and that everybody understands is that spreadsheet. I think the one that we presented yesterday had 230 line items, I think.
Which
not hard.
I mean, could get to that real fast. And people are like, wait, what? Yeah. Even just like you said, move that switch over 2 inches or 3 inches or something.
Plus, we don't miss it.
Huge. Plus, you don't miss it.
Mm-hmm.
And because this is what I think is so fascinating. And because you're big construction, I am too. And I think we love it.
Yes.
Maybe more than a lot of designers. They
won't touch it,
but they don't want a deal.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. Like the GC side makes me so happy. And if I only did that, that would be amazing.
Yeah.
But stuff gets caught. But you realize how many people that switch moving over, electrician, the painter, like sheetrock. I mean, every single thing to just move this thing over. So when somebody sees it, they're like, really? But it's a big deal.
Could even be framing if we have to notch into a stud.
Or something.
Yep.
All of those things. Yep. Everybody that gets affected by that one thing.
Yep.
All those people that touch it, I think it's fascinating.
Yep.
And fun. Yep. But it's like because all of the trades have their specialties, but then it's, I've got one guy, Jose. He's amazing. And he is sort of my...
Is he the jack of all trades?
Yes.
I love that.
So he's the come in and hang all the accessories, move that light, like all these things that touch-ups. And he just did framing for the pony wall for this crazy shower. And, all these things, like he can do all of it because we need that one who has... Because otherwise, you're just, this guy's like, I'm an electrician. I'm a, and which is awesome.
I'm only doing this.
Yeah. But that one pinch hitter.
Is just so incredibly important. And I think, one of the things that people don't understand about remodels, and it's so important to understand, is that when the walls are open, sheetrock is out, the walls are open, and we're doing things like plumbing rough-in, we're doing the electrical wiring, we're moving some of that HVAC. It's not fun. Like you're spending lots of money. You're not seeing anything pretty or fun. It feels like the project's going to take forever. But those are the most important things. Yeah. Those are the things that determine how your house is going to look at the end. Right. I can change out a rug in 2 minutes. I cannot change out your lighting grid. Yeah. I mean, it is so important. And so one of the things we also talk to our clients about, and that we've learned to talk about more, is the things that are the times that it looks like the least amount is happening and it's the least fun. It's the most important and the most payoff.
So smart.
Have you learned that?
Yes. And I probably need to communicate it better because
it's hard.
Do think because I'm excited about the other stuff too.
I love it.
So it's just like, I get why they're like, yeah, I go to, we go to the house every afternoon after school or whatever. And like, it doesn't look like anything's happening. You're like, so many things happened, but you aren't going to see it yet.
Right.
But I feel the same way. And I don't know about you, but like you go to the job site, and again, because everybody's doing their one thing, there might be something left on the middle of the floor for 5 weeks and nobody's touching it. And I just want to see it moved. And I'm like, whose is it? And why are we not moving? Whatever. I want to see a difference. So God knows the client does too.
Yeah.
Do you bring in like a cleaning in the midst of the deal?
We do. But we've been lucky. We've worked with our same trades, all of them, for over 10 years. So, but still, my husband runs our remodeling crews, but when I go on site, I want it to literally look like somebody's living there. And my husband's like, that's unrealistic. It's construction. There's going to be dust. There's going to be stuff. But we are really big, and my husband's gotten really good at this, and having our trades take the materials that they're not using. Because I think that how the home is treated, even if the client's not living there and it's torn up, that is still their home. That is, I don't care that it's a construction site. I just don't care that it's a construction site. It is still their home. They're still paying a mortgage, or they're still paying taxes, or they're still paying for the electricity. They're still paying. And so I don't care.
I am with you. And their neighbors deserve to not live next to a house that 100%. If you're not able to get your trash into the dumpster,
you want to say shit, just say
shit. Like, pick up your shit. And if you're burning heaters out in front of this house, this gorgeous house, get those damn cigarettes off of this front porch. This house does is a non-smoking house.
We're not going to have Jack in the Box trash
and those little. Oh, I can't.
Big gulps. Like, we're not doing that. Somebody lives here. And so we talk about that. And so if you guys leave at 4:00 because you got here at 7, totally fine with that. At 3:30, we're going to start sweeping and getting our materials out of there.
Is that even on a job site that somebody's not living in? That's period.
100%.
Okay.
100%. I think that is psychologically impactful to the client. And I think it also reminds our trades that for them it's a job, but for that client, it's their home and their dream. And I think it reinforces that every day, and it's a time to reset and think about that. I think that's super important.
It is. I love that. And we have definitely, because I think everybody just starts to get into their mode and whatever. And so it helps to have that. And like the dumpster was picked up and not, they didn't drop off a new one. And so we have a ton of boxes, and it has just done my head in.
And those things happen.
I know, but process. I cannot wait to get out of here today and go over and start throwing boxes myself, because I find that incredibly satisfying.
I love that.
But again, I feel like they need to probably up it on this. But anyways, because every job site's so different. But if do you let people but if somebody lives in their house during your remodel, is that something you're okay with? How do you handle that?
So we have a long talk about that. In the beginning processes, because it might be that we don't see eye to eye on that for that particular project. If the kitchen is coming out, typically we super encourage people to move out, because you're looking at 5 to 6 months without a kitchen. And while you think that might be fun, by about month 2, it sucks so bad, and there's nothing you can do about it. So most clients, it's a non-negotiable. You absolutely have to move out unless there is a client that can handle it. I'll give you a couple of examples. We had a client that had a special needs son, and they just said, for him to be moved out of the home would be just way, way, way too much. We absolutely cannot move him out of the home. We'll live upstairs. We understand exactly what we're signing up for. But because of his emotional needs, we need to stay here.
Right.
We did it, and it worked out great. Then we have a client right now. She is a big executive in an oil company. He's a stay-at-home dad. They have twins in high school. They just moved here from another state, and massive remodel going on. And they just finished a remodel in the place where they came from that didn't go well. So I'm telling you, we look like rock stars.
Right.
They just keep saying, we cannot believe how awesome this is. But they just went through it. They're like, we can do it. This is what we're going to do.
Right.
But when we get to the painting stage, because it's going to take 6 weeks to paint this house, they are going to leave. And
the smells and all
they
that
have
stuff.
to.
Yeah.
You can't, for health reasons, stay there. So in those 2 instances, recent ones, of course, we've had a lot more, but we really talk to the client because however bad, we have that graph that shows the emotional process of going through a remodel. We need to totally share that in our show notes. But it just shows how the roller coaster goes from being so excited to being so down in the dumps to being so excited, and it keeps going on through the process.
Yeah.
And not everyone is cut out for that.
No.
Not everyone is cut out for that.
I'd be curious the data on how that works for people who do move out versus the people who stay in, and which side is harder, because I try and, maybe let's not go every day. You're like, you just give it a week. Be excited, but if you go every day, it can feel like a beatdown.
That is such a good point.
So it's just like, let's give it a minute and, maybe this week take a break or something, because it's a beat. Yeah. You're like, and the kids are walking through and they're not, they're like, oh my God, do we really have to come see it again? But I love that you said, like with the one client who's had a child who had, some special needs, that happened on a project, and it was a pretty big remodel, and that was very, very big deal for them that they could not move out of the house. And so
sometimes that's what it is.
It is. And that was totally okay. But it also determined what contractor got that project, because that contractor had to be okay with if the child maybe has a day that's not great, you have to turn that crew around and get out pronto. Like, so that, because it's
real life again. We're
disruptive
humans
to the house, right? It's hard anyway.
Yeah.
So
I love that you did that.
Yeah. So that was big. But, and actually the funnest part of the backside of that was when we finally finished it and everything and went through a walkthrough. The child, who's a very tall young man, 6'8" or 9. Yeah. And he was 15 at the time, that tall. He pulled me into his bathtub, not with water, but like, so I could see the shower.
Oh, he was so proud.
So proud. And then we were watching videos on his phone inside of it. And it was just, it makes me tear up just thinking about it, because like he was such a special, I got real close to him. I would start cutting his hair during that time too, because of what the family having to even go through the process of getting haircuts is so hard. So I was like, well, I could try. So then it became because he wanted to be home, right? So then anyway, that's a whole nother roller coaster. But
that's a whole meeting people where they're at.
It's so funny. Yeah, we have to. God, we're so lucky we
have to.
The blessing to kind of be involved in so many people's in their lives in that way.
But if through the process you're interviewing this client, you're meeting with them, and you can tell that they are in no way cut out for the remodel process, like I'm in no way cut out for the remodel process, I would have to be told I have to move out, because I would not be well. And that doesn't make it wrong. It's just you're caring for that person and their particular set of needs and protecting them. And if it's me and I refuse to move out, I wouldn't remodel my house. I would be like, I just don't think that this is going to work, just because we want to honor who you are and what's comfortable for you.
Yes. Yeah. Some people are totally okay. Blow up mattress, just finish. Like, we're good. We can totally grill. We're fine. We got a air fryer, whatever.
Yep.
Technology has changed a lot in the last 10 years.
Which has been helpful.
It does help people. Like that you can actually eat, right? But it is so nice when they can get a rental or stay with, a lot of people have family who's have a second home, whatever.
Right.
And then it's just easier
It's
on
just
everywhere.
easier. Yeah.
Everyone, the
Like we
crew.
say, they're not watching the sausage be made, so it tastes better.
It does. So when you do
Just
come
does.
in, you get those wow moments. You haven't been there all day.
Mhm.
But some pitfalls though, like I know we talk about it all the time, and we were talking about one the other day, but simple, small things with remodels, but that are so big, right? Like when you take lighting tends to be one of those where you didn't account for something. Like I had one where it was the lights were in the mirror and
Oh, yeah.
that one, and they were round, and I got it.
You have to tell that whole story.
The sconces, fell in love.
Backplates.
Backplate, didn't even know. Made sure everything else was the right size. We measure and damned if we did not.
And they're on top of a mirror, so you're not just lickety-split,
You're not just sheetrocking around,
Yeah.
painting or whatever.
That J-box is round, your plate is square, you have a problemo.
It's a problemo.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
We learn them on every job.
Yes, but that was one of those, God dang it, Casey. How long? Like,
You've done it before.
Really?
Mhm.
How long have you been doing this? I've never done that. I won't do it again.
You won't. That's
but
the whole
I've
thing.
never done. I must have.
And you're making it right.
Yeah, make it right. But
because it's the cost of doing business, right? But you learn, and we learn stuff every single day. One of the other things that we've learned during remodels is those Friday emails are gold. Clients have time, and they'll take their neighbor, their parent, Aunt Jane, everybody to go see the remodel. And they get wound up about something, right? Somebody says, why did they blah, 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 blah. And that client sits on that and stews on that, whatever. And on Monday, you either get a call or an email. So we send emails, I know you do too, that says, this is what happened this week. And this is what you can expect next week. And there's always a note that says, we understand that some things might not look quite right because they're in process. And we have whatever this is on our radar,
right?
So that they can breathe and they can enjoy showing their friends and neighbors and family the remodel and understand that we are actually really on top of it.
Yes.
And if not, we will be on Monday.
That happened yesterday. I walked in. I had to step away from the project for the weekend. I have been just spinning over multiple jobs it's like they're
a lot,
all coming to that pivotal crescendo at the same time, and it's just a lot. So this crazy brain is going into the logistics of everything. So I just needed this whole weekend. I didn't look at an email. I sent that Friday stuff and then it was done. But I walked in yesterday, and first thing I was on the phone with Carrie because we do it on our Monday call, and I shouted the F word and was like, fuck, what? Ugh. Let me call you back. A mirror was hung, wrong mirror was hung. Simple thing. But it was just after, a series of things.
A little irritated.
And so sure enough, get an email and they're like, and it looks like they're the wrong mirror. And I'm like, oh, because I didn't get to them before they had seen it. And it just was one of those things. I never want the client to have to find something that I have not already let them know about, because it is a shitty feeling.
Because then you wonder what else is maybe not right.
What happened?
That's human nature.
It is, yeah. So I was like, oh, it's handled. It's already fixed. But gosh, I do not love that feeling. So, but we can't catch it all. And bless our trades, like there's two mirrors sitting there. Which one fit?
Doing our best. Something that just happened on a remodel that we have going on in Spring Branch. The client was going to leave the master bathroom. She's like, I don't want to. She's moving in. She's recently divorced and moving into a house by herself. And she was like, I don't want to gut this entire house. The things that I am okay with, I want to leave. Totally understand that. So, during one of our walkthroughs, our planning walkthroughs, we walked back into the bathroom because we're going to do some things in her closet. And she started talking about all the things in the primary bath again that she just didn't love. And it was like, well, if we're going to do this, like it will never be less expensive. It'll never be easier. It'll never be like, this is it. And she stood there and she's like, let's just do it. So demo day comes and we're demoing the primary bath. And I've never seen this before, Casey, ever. They opened up the pony wall in the shower, and there was so much live termite activity. It was like you had an infested apartment, and you turn the light, and the cockroaches scattered. We have video of it, which I am not going to share. I have never. But here's the thing: brand new house, not a brand new house, a brand new house to her. It's an older home. And it had passed all, she had just purchased it, passed all the inspections, da 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 da. If we had not demoed that bathroom, which was infested in termites, and we've had the professionals out and they're like, no, it is just contained to this bathroom.
Oh, thank God.
She would have just been living there. It would have been disintegrating until one day a tile would have fallen out and there would have been, you know what I mean?
She goes to put your shampoo and the whole thing just.
No, she was like, I swear the universe is looking out for me because number one, it would have grossed me out. And number two, I just want to get this done the way I want to.
No, I really want it. Yeah.
And now she's super invested in the design. And it's like, thank God we're doing this. But we had to mash the pause button because 3 weeks, they have to treat them and you are off of that project for 3 weeks.
Are you serious? Which nobody's planning on. And
no one.
You That's guys have your own trades, but a lot of people they subcontract, right? Yep. And so these guys are like, ready to go. I'm going to another project. I've got somebody who's waiting on me to start their tile. I'm going to start there. So now you guys might be put on the back burner, which is so frustrating and tricky too, right? Like
so tricky.
It is such a dance of when timing for all of them, everybody working
100%.
A lot of logistics.
And you want respectful subcontractors because sometimes they have to be on top of each other a little, like, or back to back with each other, or they have to be able to say, I can't do this until this is done. And then, like you said, you don't want them coming back a month later. So sometimes there are huge surprises that are going to cost a client a lot. And you don't want that. Nobody wants that. So I think another thing is preparing your client to not spend their maximum dollar because we don't know what we're going to find. And we don't want to cause upset, chaos, or disappointment.
That's a really good point. Because sometimes people will take it to that, like, this is it moment.
Mm-hmm.
And then, you do not want to muddy that water with like, we're so sorry, and have that change. But, we don't
want them to start pawning stuff to pay for remodels.
No.
Life is too short.
So it's always like, I'm sure you guys do too. We always pad. And I have before written a contract, so if I've GC'd something, and I will add in like a $5,000 like line item that will say, this is so we don't come back and nickel and dime you for the $30 here or there, because those do add up. We can eat a few, and I do, but like I'm not eating a ton.
No.
But that this will absorb, and if we didn't spend it,
you get it
back to your final bill.
Yeah.
But just know that, because I can't.
You have to put in your brain that this is the possibility.
You might be spending this extra, but if not, great. But I don't want to come back to you at the end of this, because the last thing you're going to want to do is write one more check to me for this nonsense.
The check writing exhaustion continues.
We're just, it's hemorrhaging, right?
Yeah.
So in the like grandest scheme of the remodel, do you have like your biggest takeaway to share of
about remodels?
Just like with that designer who might be listening, or the homeowner who's like, I hadn't thought of that and I wasn't warned about that. What that might be for somebody to really think about before undertaking something?
I think, as the homeowner, speaking to the homeowner now, I think the most important questions to ask yourself is, do you love where you live? Do you love your neighbors? Do you love the footprint of your house, knowing that you can also add a second story? Is the backyard to your liking? If the answer to those questions are all yes, then it's probable that a remodel is for you. If the answer to any of those questions are no, then I would recommend not investing the money in a remodel and maybe looking at a new build, looking for a new place to live and doing something new. That is kind of our guideline to our clients when they're on the fence, and we want them to make the right decision for them and their family. And if you're a designer, whether you're a baby designer or a seasoned designer, and you're helping somebody make that decision, we found that those questions are helpful in guiding them, and we hope that those questions work for you as well too.
No, that's good. I like that, because I think sometimes people don't realize that they do love their neighbors. They do want to drive down that street every day to that same house. So what the impact on the inside? And I do think it's planning for a remodel. It's not ever really a great time. So if you are
rip the Band-Aid,
embarrassed to bring people to your home, but you love to entertain, if your kids don't want to be at home as much because their friends' houses have these, like, if there's elements of it that you just wish and you can afford it, do it. It's never the right time, but you will never regret doing it, ever.
100%.
I don't know a single person who's ever said, I wish I hadn't done this. Ever.
We've never had a remodel client that said, I'm sorry that I did this.
Yeah.
Not ever.
Never. They're always like, why didn't I do this 10 years ago?
Or they might say, I wish I'd gone ahead and done the kitchen, or I wish I had gone ahead but we have those really hard discussions, but we always tell people it's not our job to spend your money.
Yeah.
It's our job to be good stewards and to use it the best way if it's what you want to spend.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah.
So thank you so much for joining us. If you want to talk to Casey and I, please DM us at Reframing on Instagram. Or you can send an email to hello@reframingdesign.com. You can follow me at Rainey Richardson Interiors on Instagram.
You can follow me at Cassandra_brand_interiors. And if you want your beautiful piece of art up back here, so we'll display it and try and match our flowers and dresses to it, please send us a DM on Instagram or again at hello@reframingdesign.com because we'd love to have you. So
thank you so much. Until next time, I love you.
I love you. Arigato.